People in the back laughing because they know that that's how they're going to remember it on the test. Okay, now, you notice there's a huge honking hole right here. That's the obturator foramen, also known as the huge honking hole right there. Okay, we got a pubis. We have a pubic symphysis. We have a pubic crest right here. Pubis symphysis, pubic crest. And then we have the acetabulum. That's where the femur connects in. Acetabulum is the groove where the femur goes in. Then, that takes care of the pelvis. Now we're on to the lower limbs. All right. We got a femur. Let's lift up the femur, swing it away from... I'll swing it this way. We got a femur. Now our femur has the following things we want to learn about. We've got the head of the femur. We've got the neck of the femur. Okay, notice the difference. Neck of the femur is here. Surgical neck of the humerus is here. Now the actual neck of the humerus is here, but we're worried about the surgical neck right here. But the neck of the femur is right there. Then we have the shaft, pretty obvious part. Then we have the greater trochanter. It's this big bulging thing here, greater trochanter. Lesser trochanter. Then we have medial and lateral condyles. Medial condyle, lateral condyle. These are the big honking articulating spots. And then we have the intercondyle fossa, the groove in between the condyles. And then we have the patellar surface. Patella rests right there. We straighten the leg, notice the patella rests there. And then we have the patella, knee bone. And then we have the tibia. We'll go to the tibia. Remember we got those condyles. We got a medial condyle in the tibia, lateral condyle in the tibia. All right. We have the tibial tuberosity. It's a bulging fat part in the front of the tibia. And then we have the medial malleolus. If it were a wrist, it would be called the styloid process. But it's called the malleolus here on the tibia because it's huge. It looks like a big permanent marker, not just a pen. Medial malleolus. And let's see, what else is there? Okay, we have articular surfaces of medial condyle, articular surfaces of lateral condyle. It's the top part of these condyles that actually rub. These are the knee joints. Medial, lateral. And that's the tibia. The fibula is the smaller bone here. And the parts we worry about the fibula, we have a lateral malleolus. It looks like the big kind of pointy part at the bottom. And we have the head of it. Then we get down here to the foot. Okay. We've got a couple things. First of all, the tallest bone of the foot is called the talus. Talus, tall. Calcaneus is the heel here. Then we've got the navicular. This is the navicular bone. Then we have the cuboid bone, cuboidal bone. And then these three little bones are the cuneiform bones. Medial, correction. Yeah. Medial, lateral. My brain is just shut down. Let's glance at my sheet. Okay. Medial, lateral, intermediate. Medial, intermediate, lateral. And then, of course, we've got the metatarsals and the phalanges. Now remember, the phalanges are numbered the same. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And these are numbered using Roman numerals. So you got to know it's kind of like I, V, V. Now, proximal distal, proximal medial distal, proximal medial distal, proximal medial distal, proximal medial distal. So remember the phalanges. And that is all the parts of the skeleton we're worried about. So we're going to stop and take a break before we move on to the muscles. We've already done the skeleton, so we're now going to move on to the next step, which is going to be muscles. But just to wrap up the last little thing, we're going to do the knee model. A couple parts of the knee that we worry about. First of all, you identify front and back by the patella. Flip the patella down and take a look. You'll notice there's a ligament that goes from the middle of the knee to the front. That is the anterior cruciate ligament. Its friend goes from the middle of the knee to the back, posterior cruciate ligament. So back here to the other parts of the knee that we worry about. We got meniscus. Lateral meniscus, medial meniscus. These pad the joint right there. And lastly, we have the medial collateral ligament. The lateral collateral ligament, the medial collateral ligament. And so that's the parts on the knee model. And that should wrap up the skeleton and the knee. And we're going to move on to the microscopic bone model, which I'll pull out right here. What are we worrying about the microscopic bone model? First of all, you notice it's in concentric circles. One whole unit of all the concentric circles is called an osteon. And in the center of it is central canal. And the individual rings are called concentric lamina, or laminae. And then we have little cells. You can see them as little ovals. Those are called osteocytes. Now, each of those cells is in its own little hole that's called a lacuna. And the lacuna are connected to all the different central canals and to each other through little canals called caniculi. And to connect each osteon to each other are these perforating canals. And we can see them better here because they're in red. And I believe that's everything on our microscopic bone model. Which brings us to the next one, which is the cell model. And what we're going to worry about in the cell model, this is a model of a nerve. It's a cell. So we're using it as our cell model. And our cell model, what we've got on the cell model is we've got, make sure I have my list here so I make sure I get all of them. We've got the nucleus. We've got the Golgi apparatus. It's in green here, green for Golgi. Then we have the rough and smooth endoplasmic reticulum. We've got the smooth, it's here, smooth, kind of brownish, folds. And the rough, it's got these little beads that makes it look like a speckled donut or something. And lastly, we have some vesicles. And these little sausage-like things with an inner membrane are called our mitochondria. They produce energy. And that is our cell model. And so we've done microscopic bone model, cell model. Now we can move on to our muscles. All right. We'll use this little guy to start with for muscles. We'll start with the epicranius muscles. We got a frontal belly of it. This is the one that allows you to lift your eyebrows. And the occipital belly of it. Then we have the orbicularis oculi. Basically, the ones that go around the eye. See it right there? Goes around the eye. Orbicularis oculi. The zygomaticus. They're sitting here. They help you smile. They come from the zygomatic bones down. Then we have the orbicularis oris, right here around the lips. Then we have the temporalis, right here, right on the temples. Then we have the masseter, big jaw muscle, how's you chew.